he is really a great tackler when it comes to being in space. John, would you not agree? That was a pretty good tackling performance by the Eagles. I have to watch.
Oh yeah,
too,
big.
But I thought they
time.
got guys on the ground.
The secondary is a work in progress. Obviously, you saw some blown coverages late, but that's what happens when you have younger players back there. But you got to give Drew Makuba credit for making plays. Like, we made fun of him for getting run over by Patrick Mahomes. Then he missed another. Then he made that big stop on, I think it was Hollywood Brown, where it was sort of a mesh route, and he stops him a yard short of the first down. I thought that was a big, and obviously he made the big interception, which was more of a Johnny on the spot thing. But I thought there's a lot of positives from the defensive side of the football. I'm also taking it with a grain of salt. Again, I expected that to happen. I told people, be cautious. They're going to have a good defensive game because Kansas City's so limited. And that's what happened. They had a good defensive game. But I like the plan. Vic is like, when you think you got Vic figured out, he's going to come at you a different way. And to Sill's point, he knew better than anybody. He didn't have to worry about those receivers. So he felt that he could be more aggressive and take more chances than he usually would.
Yeah,
I would say this point too. Where was Spawn in the game? I mean,
usually he flashes. Didn't really see the big flash today.
I thought they used him as the landmark, John, on how to create space back there, and that was how they were able to get guys open wherever he was. I thought that was the guy that, to your point, the best. You said this in the pregame. The best defensive football player, the best talented players on the D-line, but the best football player is that guy. How that defense goes in pass defense, in my opinion, goes with Q and it goes with Bond. And I thought Mahomes moved him around with his head and put him out of the play and gave them their best chance to be able to complete some passes with those limited guys. Remember, Zander, I mean, when you're kicking field goals and Jake Elliott's kicking field goals, at the end of the day, that's a win for Kansas City. They want you kicking field goals. They don't want you sticking touchdowns in on them because they're so limited. And I agree. I think, look, Cooper DeJean in space, I thought I saw Kelsey school him once when he got him open it there in the open field. But other than that guy, a little too aggressive on the numbers outside a little bit. And I saw teams and I saw guys planting their anchor foot and spinning him around, getting first downs. So maybe a little bit too over aggressive. Maybe that's one of the reasons they don't put him out there on the numbers, because I thought he was aggressive out there. But he is really a great tackler when it comes to being in space. John, would you not agree? That was a pretty good tackling performance by the Eagles. I have to watch.
Oh yeah,
too. But I thought they got guys on the ground.
Yeah, especially Cooper. Yeah, Cooper. That's the strength of his game. One of many strengths, but I think he might be the best open field tackler, and maybe it's a low bar in the modern game as far as cornerbacks go. But he's tremendous. I thought Makuba had the big stop. The linebackers were great in limiting the underneath stuff. It wasn't to your point. It wasn't you. I think we've gotten spoiled by Zach Bond. We expect the splash play every week, and we didn't get the splash play. But I imagine after I watch the All-22, he plays pretty well, but we'll see.
How'd you think the pressure was, John?
I thought it was better than last week.
Yeah, but not the manufactured pressure by blitzing. What'd you make of just 4-down pressure by the guys? Did you think that – because, again, you and I both saw Z.Smith, and he was an impact out there. But what'd you think?
I thought there were a couple good Jalen Carter rushes. Now, the one he did that, and we were talking at halftime, they did a little stunt where he came outside, and that was the play that Patrick he took a bad, undisciplined pass rushing route, but he was getting there. The problem is he lost contain, and Patrick took advantage of it. So, his presence, I thought, showed up. Morrow got his first regular season sack. That was late, but maybe that gives him some confidence. It wasn't otherworldly, but I thought it was a lot better. And I think you see it falling into place the more Z.Smith plays. I think it'll
Jalen
get
Hunt,
better and
though,
better.
John, Jalen Hunt is exactly what you said. Overhyped, not under talented. And what I mean by that is he's like a green apple on a tree. He's just not ready to pick yet. And so that guy has the talent to be able to be somebody down the line. You see why they took him in the third round, but I thought I saw him get washed down a little bit. I mean, I saw some good pressures. I saw him running into contact a little bit too much and not picking a side. There's no doubt when Z.Smith is out there on the edge and he's out there on the edge, bro, it's the moon and the sun. It's completely a whole different look for the Eagle defense when Z.Smith is playing end versus Jalen Hunt. Jalen Hunt, I think they want him to be the rotating guy. And they eventually want him down the line.
No question.
But that guy, I mean, the defense was completely different when he was out there. And I'm talking Smith. Zadarius.
Yeah. And the point about Jalix, I just, and my term I always use is people are skipping steps to your green apple.
Yeah.
They're jumping the gun. I mean, he's got potential, but he shouldn't be a starting edge rusher on the Super Bowl champions. They need more at that position. I think as a third or fourth guy, that's good. Ascending guy, and hopefully he gets better learning from somebody like Z.Smith. Part of the reason Z is here, he told me on Friday, he got Brandon Graham's locker, by the way. They kicked poor Ty Robinson out of it. And they already mentioned Zedarius. They want him to, bring the young guys along. That's part of his job as well.
Yeah, John, they want him in the Nolan Smith role of a year ago before BG got hurt. That's the role they want his butt in. I mean, and then eventually, hopefully, he ends up winning the job from him because, again, that's what you bring veterans like that in. You want them to beat them out eventually because, again, home improvement, guys you drafted, self-evaluation, and also player development. You're hoping he wins that job down the line.
I tell you what, he looked damn good, though, Z.Smith out there.
He did.
I mean, still, the one thing I was looking for
off the street, he looked good.
That's what I mean. I thought you made a good point about, different guys take a different amount of time to acclimate. 33-year-old might take a little bit longer, but I think you saw the opposite. I think the veteran presence allowed him to really.
You know what
he was a force from play one out there. You could tell the edge was different.
You know what he reminded me of? When Sue and Linval Joseph came in, those guys were immediate impact guys against the run. Now, Sue was not the guy we saw in Detroit when he was a dual threat guy and 3-down guy where he could go out, get you 10 sacks, 7 sacks from the interior. He's not that guy. He was brought in to be a run stopper. Joseph was probably the better run stopper. Those guys came in and they were pros. They don't need training camp. They don't need any of that. Now you need football, and they don't want it either, right, John? They don't want any of that, but they need football reps, and that's where Z.Smith is right now. He needs football reps, not sitting on a bike. And so that'll come.
He understands that. He's been working out like that. Part of his plan was, he admitted, very honest guy. He admitted, he was hoping to get more money, but he realizes the situation. He's 33 years old. And when you turn 30 in this league, people look to go in other directions, whether fair or not. But, he didn't want to come in for spring work. He didn't want to come in for training camp. He was like, he probably wanted to come in a little bit earlier, but it was just to get into that shape you're talking about, Sills. But he started putting on his helmet when he was working out a couple of weeks ago.
He wanted to stay
just
in
to get
Detroit.
used to it.
I think he was disappointed that Detroit didn't bring him back sooner. And once the season started, he knew that they weren't. And so, again, I thought that's one of the reasons why he didn't sign earlier is because I think he had his heart set on it. Remember, because when he got traded, I believe from Cleveland to Detroit.
A
year ago.
Well, I think there's a lot of, Obo was a former teammate of his in Cleveland, and he talked up the Eagles and what kind of organization they are. there's that mentality of, oh, you don't want to sign him before week 1. The Eagles wanted to bring him in for week 1, and then they said, the game plan's already in. Let's wait a week. Now, a lot of people took that as, well, if you're on the roster week 1, you don't have to guarantee his whole salary if you wait to week 2, but they guaranteed his whole salary. So
right.
that wasn't part of it. And then he's got incentives that can get it up to $9 million, which he said are very makeable. 5 to 15 sacks. He's definitely going to get 5 sacks. I mean, this guy can rush the passer. Is he going to get?
Did he get credited for a sack on that one today, or is that a half a sack, or what?
He got a half a sack. He got a half a sack.
Hey, John, I'm starting to see some people going here, and they're going like, Chris Jones didn't do shit in this ball game. They held the Eagle offense at 216 yards and 15 first down. I mean, what are you guys talking about?
Wow.
They absolutely stymied that offense today. So before anyone starts saying that Spags didn't do it, you held that team to – I can't remember the last time the Eagles had less than 225 yards of total offense in the last 4 years. Now, you see, there's people going, and they lost. Right. I remember the same people in 23 telling me how great that team was at 10-1. And I'm going, that's not the same team that you guys think it is. I'm not there with John. I'm not there with Zander. I'm not saying that. Okay, we need more out of September.
No, I'm definitely not saying that.
Don't sit there and try to tell me that these first 8 quarters that you've seen your team play offensively is a Super Bowl offense.
All right,
That's
listen.
not a Super Bowl offense, my friends.